here snitching, they with the rat pack. Hit them with the chopper, that's the rat trap. Find them in that trash bag off the interstate. House full of gangsta niggas never renovate. You snitching, you deserve.
So I've been reading Absolute Batman for quite a bit now, and I'll be honest, from issue 1, I knew that it wasn't gonna be the same, because you can't have a 6'9", 410-pound Batman who's built like Brock Lesnar feels on 10 feet and have him versing Batman's regular rogues gallery. That's not gonna work. Because I genuinely believe that Absolute Batman versus regular Bane, them not gonna throw down. That's gonna be an equal fight. So because of that, when I wake up in the morning, I look at my phone and I see this. I'm not surprised, bro, because you're not gonna have regular Joker, hey, you bets, wanna play a game? You're not gonna have that. He's gonna get picked up with one hand like Conquest versus Mark Grayson. They need to be upgraded the same way Batman was upgraded. But I'll be honest, this isn't an upgrade. It's not even an evolution, nor a transformation. This is just pure cheat codes. Like guys using Zens on 2Ks, it's just unfair. So I'm gonna go over all of Absolute Batman's rogues gallery so I can show you, man, just how cooked this guy really is. So let's get into it now. So let's start with Absolute Killer Croc. Killer Croc has always been a unit, let's be for real. Like in the Arkham games, he's pretty much Shaquille O'Neal with scaly skin, but Absolute Killer Croc is generally a Dark Souls boss. And I'm gonna show you, man, how we got here. So in the Absolute universe, you man already know the Penguin, the Riddler, Killer Croc, Catwoman, Two-Face are all Bruce Wayne's childhood friends. So we got Waylon Jones, he's a boxer in this universe. He's got his groceries, he's just chilling. And then two shady ass guys pull up, Waylon Jones, and without even saying a single other thing, bow, chloroform right to the face, knocked his ass out. And look at the scientist.
Yep, he's a perfect specimen.
And this guy who looks like Jazz from Fresh Prince is like, take him to Ark M. And Ark M, if you can't tell over the play of words, is Arkham. And I'll be real, Arkham Asylum has nothing on Ark M. This place is 20 times worse. And so obviously when Bruce finds out his boy's been abducted, he has to go slide for him. So he ends up finding where Ark M is, and it's underground. And look at this. This is a whole underground civilization. And so he's in there and he's seeing the most ridiculous things. Look at this skeleton. You man know what happens next. The big guy comes in, but we're gonna save that for later. So basically Bruce gets captured. He's locked up for 3 months. They're doing experiments on him. They had him having alopecia. He looks like Jada Pinkett Smith. It's crazy. But eventually, because of that hustle, he manages to get out until Bane pulls up and starts beating the brakes of him again. But we get a W assist from Killer Croc. He sends Bane flying. And look what he does to these scientists. His whole body is a mouth. He sees Bruce, but he allows him. He remembers that that's his boy. But if he didn't remember that, look how he's grabbing him by the neck. He was about to rip his head right off his neck. And so him and Bruce team up to get out of Arkham. But once they escape, we see this long body lizard. He's like, I can't lie, Bruce. Just take me out of the game, bro. I ain't living like this. He says the hunger hurts too much. And as Bruce is about to pack him up, he just can't do it. That's his boy. But Croc is like, if you can't do it, I will. And Bruce ain't going for it. He boots him in the chin. And I know Bruce is 6'9", but I'll be real, your heart don't be like that. You have no business kicking this Godzilla beast in his face. Are you crazy? And Waylon ain't going for it. Look at him. He's about to take a chomp out of this man, Bruce. And he's like, I should have left you in that place. And he dips out of there. And so with seeing that, I'm excited for what they do with him in the future. I know it's not very long, but we haven't seen him that much. But don't worry, we got way worse. So next we're gonna go with Absolute Joker. And you man probably thought I was gonna save him for later. Nah, he's coming right now. Only because we don't know that much about him yet, besides this. So from the first moment we're introduced to Absolute Joker, we already know this guy is a threat because they're glazing him straight away. We go to these two airplane pilots and they're about to pick up a very well-known guy in the world. And so this guy's like, so what? He has no name. You just have to call him sir. And the other one's like, nah, they're all fake anyways. Jack, Arthur, we don't even know his real name. When you're one of the 30 richest men on the planet, you can be whoever you want, I guess. And the other pilot's like, I think you want to be my rich, generous friend. That's a great joke, mate. But the other pilot locks in out of nowhere. He's like, don't do that, don't joke. Bro's like, why? You didn't hear? This guy never laughs, not at anything ever. That's why they call him the Joker. And we see this ominous ass panel of him just getting into the airplane. That's the first time we saw him. Then we didn't see him for a while until issue 6 where Batman finally defeats Black Mask. And then we see this butler. He's like, sir, Sinus, which is Black Mask, is reporting there seems to be a small snag in Gotham City. And he says, I'm aware. And we see this man in a suit full of babies. But I'll be real, this is demonic. When people talk about the Matrix and what's going on in the deeper meaning, I imagine things like this. Because this man's using a suit of babies to fuel himself.
More than 1 million kids come up missing per year. What do y'all think happened to these kids? And every time people come up missing, the more and more people come up missing, the more they release more chicken sound.
And the next time we see him is during Bane's backstory, and he's posted up in all white, surrounded by things. But besides the point, we already know what kind of time and Bane's on in this story. This man is brolic as hell, and Joker is not phased whatsoever. He's like, I have an offer for you. Then we go to Bane's father's perspective, and he's so proud of his son. He has such an immense pride of his son because he's built like this and he's strong as hell. And so they give us a description of the Joker, and they say from across the beach, the boy's father watches as his son talks with this strange man. Maybe it's his grin or the way he jokes to the boy but never laughs. The woman with him too, the father could swear he sees things moving in their bed. The father's about to intervene when the boy abruptly ends the conversation with whatever the man was offering. It's over. And with that, the man in white smiles, tips his hat and leaves. And so the Joker dips out of there with them three things, and his father was thinking, what the hell was that about? And Bane pulls up on him and they give each other a nice hug until this man done the Broly special. We thought Bane was just embracing his father. So all we know is that whatever Joker just told to Bane in 10 seconds made him want to kill his own father. In 10 seconds, we don't know what Joker said to him. All we know is that whatever he said had so much power and influence was that he had to get his own dad out of there. And after that, Bane just works purely for Joker. So that's everything we know about Joker, and you man know this man is turned out to be a threat. From the suit of babies to him getting Bane to pack up his dad, and for the fact that he never jokes and his name's the Joker. And also, we can't leave out this. So to go on to the next person now, it's gonna be absolute Catwoman. And we don't know that much about her, other than God bless the writers, bro. Just God bless the writers.
We must stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
And we also know that she is really about the money, bro. That's all she cares about. In the scene, we see her and Bruce getting jiggy. They're doing it in a whole bed of money, bro. And we know she's been a misfit from the first time we saw her, because when Bruce's dad got slammed out, she was the first one jumping about rooftops and stuff. And now, in the most recent issue, we see Batman and Alfred getting ready for Bane. This man, Alfred, has a whole machine gun on him. And we know Alfred in this universe, he's pretty much Agent 47. He's a demon. As they're squaring up, thinking that it's gonna be Bane, we see this thing coming down the pillar, and it's right next to his head. And he starts getting choked out, and he's spraying the machine gun, and all we see is bow, and then a right hook to the face. And look how she has this man's body dropping to the ground. Keep in mind, this is Alfred. I wouldn't meant to understand that Alfred is really a demon in this universe, bro. And we see her, well, hello to you too, Bruce. But hey, like I said, this one's gonna be short, but I need to know what kind of timing she's on. So to go to the next person now, we have to go with Absolute Black Mask. Now I need you man to understand something. Just because he's the first and probably the weakest villain in this whole entire list doesn't mean that he's trash, bro. We find out that he's running this crew called the Party Animals, and these men are generally attacked. We find out the first thing they done, they torched a daycare, bro. A daycare. And we also know that this crew, they wear these KSI skull masks. And these are just the goons. So let me show you the man himself. So we go to him talking to Falcone and Maroni. And if you man know, these guys get slammed out in every iteration of Batman. In Batman Begins, we see Falcone getting slammed out by Scarecrow. In the Batman 2022, we see Falcone getting slammed out by Riddler. And I'm pretty sure in Gotham he gets slammed out as well. In the Penguin, Maroni gets slammed out by the Penguin. It's crazy. And to carry on with the little superstition, we just know that these men are gonna get slammed out here. We see Maroni and Falcone talking to him, and they're like, listen, we know who you are. We know that you party animals are really like that, but I can't lie, we've been running Gotham for 150 years now, and you gotta respect that. That's history. And Black Mask is like, history? I know, I love history. That's what we're celebrating here. We're celebrating history's end. And then he starts showing them all these masks, and I can't lie, I'm gonna have to play the Vine Boom sound effect after I list out all of these masks. The first mask they show them is Socrates himself. The second mask they show him is Martin Luther. And then here we have George Washington. So from now, you guys should already be like, how does he have the skins of all these famous people? And then he's like, oh, Mr. Maroni, here's your brother. Oh, Mr. Falcone, how could I forget you? Here's your cousin. And as these men are absolutely shocked, we just see Maroni's cigarette fall out of his mouth. And this guy got poked in his eyes. And then Falcone starts getting strangled to death.
Shorty was the best. Something was wrong with him. That's not human, man. You're not regular, man. Nigga was the devil, man. That nigga was the devil, man. That's real. That nigga was the fucking devil.
So we've already seen him take out the two most well-known crime lords in Gotham with ease as well. And so the party animals are going even crazier on Gotham, bro. Look at this. They are stomping on this man's dead body. And so we find out the reason why they're so chaotic. And it's pretty much to do with the KSI skull mask they're wearing. What these masks do, they make it so your identity is a mystery throughout the whole world. No agency can identify you no matter what. Also, they make it so you're literally playing a real-life video game. Let's say I'm walking on the street, I see a mother and child. If I slam them out, I'm gonna get 200,000 deposited credited to my account. That is why they're going so crazy and doing the craziest stuff. Because the crazier stuff they do, the more they get paid. And so to speed it up a bit, Batman and the party animals are at war for like a couple weeks. Until Black Mask is like, you know what? Okay, Batman's doing his thing, so let me offer him a deal. I'm gonna offer him 200 million to just stop doing what he does for 1 week. You man know 200 million would make absolute Batman literally worse than normal Batman. He would literally be normal Batman with access to the Batmobile, Batwing, all of them stuff, and also being 6'9" and 420 pounds. That's insane.
Tell them to bring me my money.
But long story short, you know Batman's a righteous guy, he doesn't take the money, and Black Mask is not going for it. He sends in all of his guys, but they get dismantled. And so this is his plan. He tells everyone to fire, and they start shooting the other party animals, bro. And so Batman's trying to protect them because you know he doesn't like guys getting packed up.
Cap.
So Black Mask used that as a distraction. He makes them web Batman down and he starts tweaking on him. He breaks his arm and then he gets his wife, starts stabbing him up. And Batman just barely gets away. Look at his condition, bro. And so him and Batman obviously do have their final fight, but I can't lie, Black Mask low-key does get washed. So I'm not gonna go over that. But I wanna go over this little fight Black Mask has with this world champion UFC fighter. So we got Bullock in here and he's having a full conversation with Black Mask while them two are facing off. This big body guy comes in, Black Mask slides under his leg and he's still out here talking whilst weaving a punch, and then he manages to weave again, get him into an armbar, and then he snaps the entire arm. And so we think the match is done there. This guy's trying to crawl away, but Black Mask grabs him by the leg, drags him back, and bow, gets rid of the leg as well. So we got a man with a broken arm, a broken leg, and I can't lie, someone just please throw in a towel, save this man. Ref, where you at? And then now he gets him in an entire headlock. Keep in mind, still having a full conversation, and then even Bullock is like, yo, come on bro, let him be. And then the guy's eyes go red and we don't even know what happened to bro. I think he's cooked. Keep in mind, once a world champion, just to let you man know that. And that's absolute Black Mask, I can't lie. He did get dealt with, but he was a threat whilst he was there, I'm telling you. So now we go to the next one, and that is absolute Mr. Freeze. Now listen, Mr. Freeze, I've always thought of him as just your basic villain. Like, he's just really a guy with a freeze gun, similar to like Captain Cold. I personally think Mr. Freeze can get dealt with easily, but then now we have absolute Mr. Freeze. So let me give you some context. So normally we have Victor Freeze, and he's normally the Mr. Freeze we always know. But in this universe, him and his wife both came down with some disease. Normally it's just the wife, and Victor freezes his wife. But this time, both of them got the disease. So we have Victor Jr., who throws both of them in the ice to try to preserve the bodies. And they wanted it that way because for some reason, his parents were very obsessed with the ice. They believed that the ice had stuff inside of it. So we find out Victor Jr. had a disease when he was younger. And so to cure their child, all we know is that they done something with the ice to cure the kid. But the ice really wasn't what they thought it was, because as he's talking, he said, the ice was not what they thought, not at all. I felt everything, every moment, and the pain. My God. Ice grinds and twists. The ice isn't grace, it's fury, it's reckoning. Ice births monsters, Mr. Pennyworth, just like me. And look at this SCP demon. Police!
Police! Help! Police! Help!
There is no amount of hands that can defeat this, I'll be honest. Look at him. One thing I have to respect though, he still does have a clean cut.
Bro lines himself up every morning. You right? I do.
But he's more broken than the normal Mr. Freeze, because he just grabs Bruce Wayne and he says, now to the land of ice we go. And straight away, that incapacitates him. And he's dragging him into these big containers. Then when Bruce wakes up again, he's inside this big test tube. And so we find out that he's about to put him in the same thing his parents are in. But he told us before that it was to preserve their lives. But what you don't know is that it doesn't leave you in an unconscious state. You feel the whole thing. Supposedly, according to him, it's an inexplicable pain that you will feel for 30 years. And look at Bruce. This man is getting flashbacks to every traumatic event in his life. He was not exaggerating about this pain. But this guy Bruce always has a backup plan. In his cast, he has a bow and arrow prepared, and he just barely manages to shoot himself out of it. And Mr. Freeze is in his room on a call with someone until all we get is bow! And absolute Batman pulls back up. And I'll be real, these lot was really going at it. They was throwing hands. And he even ended up summoning this entire group of frozen people to charge at him. As he's getting jumped, he just says F this, and he jumps out the entire building. That is another villain that this man didn't even beat. he just had to get in the win. And I'll be real, out of all of his villains, I do not want to run in with Mr. Freeze because this man's talking about 30 years in a concealed ice vacuum. Oh, no, I'm good off that, bro. And then for the last man, you already know who it is. Probably the most well-known absolute villain because it low-key went viral when he was first shown. Absolute Bane. Now listen, I can't lie. Absolute Bane, this man's whole story is long, so I'm just gonna go over the worst parts. As I said when I was talking about Joker, we know that this man bodied his own dad, hit him with the Broly special. And we also know that he was in prison for 11 years. And after them 11 years, he went on to become one of Satan's greatest soldiers. He slayed a journalist in Dubai. A diplomat's plane explodes over Guangzhou, wherever that is. Pirates are slaughtered in the shipping lanes in the Red Sea. Look how he's slamming out this guy of the dreads. And look what he done to my hometown. Look at the Great Bridge of London. I don't even know, is that what it's called? I've only been here like once in my life. But look what he done to it. And when we're first introduced to him, we see these two leaders of countries. They're finally becoming to a peace treaty after a century of war. Until Bane pulls up
and he's like, oh man, I was just watching the news. These two warring countries that were supposed to have a peace treaty decided that they're still gonna carry on warring after they got packed up in the meeting.
He grabs this guy by the head and pops his head with ease. He really made it look easy. And then he just dips to Gotham. And when he's in Gotham, you already know what kind of timing he was on. He literally made Batman use every single martial arts known to man and dismantled him easy, grabbing him with one hand. And we already saw what he done to all of Batman's friends, bro. This man turned Penguin into a Mahito victim. Two-Face, I think Two-Face got it the best, I'll be real. He got his whole face burned and his skull was crushed to the core. Edward Nigma, the Riddler. Look at this panel. This man is ripping his eyes out while scratching his skull. And I can't lie, I'm leaving out a lot with Bane because this video is getting very long. But if you man want more absolute Batman, please let me know, and in a bit.